Together, we make love together. We make love together. We make love together.
It's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
What is going on YouTube? Michael J. Crawford, the anti-checker here. And as usual, I'm going crazy on Mondays. Had to run around. I'm sorry for being so late. I had to run around with Mrs. Anti-Checker, get the shopping done. I actually had to find...
Thomas Potts is first in the chat once again. Congratulations on your accomplishment. As a Telosian, I live through other people's experiences and desires. I feed on the lives of others. You have nothing to fear from us, Thomas, as you have no life for us to feed on.
Excuse me. Man, my allergies are killing me. So, the, sorry, the Telosians always have to jump in every now and then for reasons. So, I have a motorcycle that's sitting in the garage, and I actually haven't been doing anything with it for a while, but because my schedule's about to change, Mrs. Anti-Checker's car is out of commission pretty much permanently at this point. So she's driving my truck around, which means that on certain days we're going to need two vehicles. So I figured, well, better get the motorcycle out of mothballs, and it's got a dead battery. So I was running around trying to find a replacement battery. And so that's why I'm late today. So for that, I am truly sorry. In the meantime, though, Thomas and Joseph both threw a couple of bucks into the super chat. Well, Thomas threw a couple of proper dollars, and Joseph threw a couple of his evil imperial dollars. Thank you both. And so, let me get you guys taken care of here, first of all.
Anal natrach. Was betad durch Jeldinre.
Ariel Natris Oris Bazi Bedhead Juchel Dementa. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
So thank you to Thomas and Joseph. I truly appreciate your generosity and keeping the lights on around here. I truly do appreciate it. So a lot of people are here, and so 29 already. And so hello to all of you. Professor McCoy says hello. How you doing? Dale is here, says good morning, you fine people. Wow, I don't know what crowd you think you're with. Dale says Manic Monday, definitely. Mark wants to know what the F just happened. Well, Telosians, you got to be careful. They took over your mind. Should I be insulted by the Bird Losian? No, of course not. You're immune to their powers. That's quite the ability. Professor says BSE? BSly? What? Thomas Pratt would that would be wrong thinking. Yes, that is correct. Mrs. Antichecker, is Mrs. Antichecker going to ride the motorcycle? Well, she does ride with me, but she doesn't particularly care for the bike I currently have because it's a little smaller than she's used to. It's a 1000 little V-Star, if you know what those look like. And it's okay for commuting and stuff, but it's not a real comfortable long haul cruiser or anything, which is what I'd like to get one day if I was going to buy another motorcycle. But right now, it's more important that I get Mrs. Antichecker a car, so I'm not thinking about getting a motorcycle anytime soon, a new one anyway. Morning, Antichecker and all nerds everywhere. How you doing, Sci-Fi Guy? Who unsubbed? Well, I figured that probably, not Thomas, Mr. Miles probably will because I'm late. I had an old man moment last night. I couldn't find my headphones. I already had them on. I have done that multiple times. How will you survive the bike with your old man bones? Thanks, Zoom. I appreciate the thought. Alexander, our favorite crazy man, is here. Says, I'm here. Neelix is God. Jar Jar Binks should have his own trilogy. Nestle Niels should have her own series as a Starfleet Admiral. Bernie 2020, feel the burn. Well, you know, Bernie is he is running, so you have fun with that. Is the motorcycle hobbit size? No, it is human size. I am not a hobbit. Actually, I wish it was a little bit bigger. 1,000... It's comfortable enough, but I would like it a little higher off the ground, like a 1500 would be. Evening Antichecker from glorious hot day in Newcastle. How you doing, Peter? I guess you want a bagger bike. What's a bagger bike, Nicole? I don't even know that term. I have 5,000 cards, Star Trek CCG collectible card game coming home soon. Very cool. That's a lot of them. I used to play that game very briefly, but I never really understood it very well. Hottest Easter Monday on record here. Well, you know, that global warming will get you. Antichecker, I changed my name on Discord. LOL, I'm not telling you who I am. Oh, great. Well, I suppose I could probably figure it out because through process of elimination, let me see. Well, I'm not sure. I'm sure I could figure it out, though. But I'm not going to do that right now. By the way, thanks. Sorry again with my allergies. First of all, notice the Doomsday Machine is, in fact, lit up right now. This is Antichecker's wonderful good Doomsday Machine. And Thomas's BSG is right next to it. But the funny story. So I finished that video yesterday of my look at why Discovery is an original work of fiction, and I don't know if you've seen it, but yeah, it's really good. And Nicole says a bagger refers to a cruiser-style motorcycle with saddlebags like 2009. Okay, gotcha. Well, the V-Star I have actually does have hard bags on it, but yes. I like larger cruisers and touring bikes. In fact, my favorite bike, I really like the Goldwing. I had a Goldwing a long time ago and loved it. But yes, the big bikes are much more comfortable for me, and I love them. But D. Newton just watched the video and it was great. Thank you. Well, so here's the funny thing. So Mrs. Antichecker, as most of you already know, refuses to watch Discovery, right? She watched the Vulcan Hello and the Battle of the Binary Stars with me, and then she was like, never again. And she has not watched another episode of Discovery since then. So then I asked her, since she's never seen Discovery since the Battle of the Binary Stars, to check, to to check out that video. And so she watched it, and she says, wow, season 2 had a lot of stuff in it that you could rip on. I said, season 2? No, that's all from one episode. And she was completely blown away that all that crap was in one episode. Have you checked your message on Discord? I sent you a couple. I see I have a few waiting. I have not checked them today yet, Peter. I will get to them in a little bit, unless there's something urgent that you need me to check out right now. But I am behind on the, because I'll be honest with you, I've been out all morning doing the shopping with Mrs. Antrigger, finding the battery for my bike. So, and then as soon as I get off this live stream, I have to get the bike working again so that I have it for transportation, and then I can work on tomorrow's video, hopefully. And then I got to worry about doing another stream and blah, 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 blah. Let's see. Hello to everyone. Hey, not Ryan Johnson. How you doing? My father had a Honda CB 175. Remember that being a good bike. Again, for some people, small bikes are the thing. To me, if it's the smallest bike I ever owned was a Honda CX500D, which I loved that bike back in the day. But then I had a... since then, I had an 800, I had a 1200, my current bike is a 1000, but my Goldwing 1200 was my favorite bike that I personally owned. I just like the seating position of the Goldwing. I like having a comfortable seat so your butt's not sore after 10 minutes of riding and that kind of thing. But nice bikes, unfortunately, I mean, like a new Goldwing these days is like $24,000. You can buy a car for that. So that's like freaking insane. John says, great video, Anti-Trekker. You should do more videos on that theme. You should talk about how Disco even ripped off the Bible with the two angels named Michael and Gabriel. You're right. And I was thinking about that too. There's plenty of material to pick from Discovery. That is for sure. Season 2 was better. It was an improvement from Season 1. I will grant that. There were actually 2 episodes of Season 2 I liked. The problem is that there is also a lot of crap and really bad writing. Guys, the problem. Last night, I bought all of the Hellboy volumes. Why is that a problem? It's funny because last night, me and Mrs. Anti-Trekker watched the Ron Perlman Hellboy, and the first one. And I have to say, I like the new Hellboy better. Maybe a joke you could check, Anti-Trekker, Flat Earth. Well, here's the thing. I know that, I don't know, the Flat Earth thing is a touchy subject with some, but and I'm not a Flat Earther, but I don't want to insult people. But let me see. So now Daniel says check Discord, but I don't see anything from you there, Daniel, unless let's see. Oh yeah, your 10 things about the next generation. Well, yeah, let me get to that in just a couple of minutes. And so, man, you guys are just crazy with this stuff. Let's see. Avengers and Last Hope. Peter, you sent me a lot of stuff to look at. Wow. Jeez, you gave me a ton of stuff to look at. Something from Space Engine. Okay. Yeah, Peter, I'm going to spend some time on this stuff, that's for sure. Oh, goodness. It's so, wow. But Daniel, I don't see anything from you that is new except for that article, but I will get to that in a couple of minutes. Because I remember you sent it to me on Saturday, but since we were doing the birthday stream, I didn't get to it. Thomas says, hi, Mrs. is Mrs. Anti-Trekker here? Oh, yes, she is. She says, hey, guys, you're going to have to wait a little while for a new video. Joshua's sick in bed. He will be back to work as soon as he can. Oh, yes. So, yes, Joshua's not feeling well. So, and we don't want him, obviously, thrown up on the computer or something. I saw the new Hellboy, and I hated it. Jesus Christ. I didn't hate it. I liked it. But, you know, teach their own. Feel better, Joshua, and hello, Miss Sandsugar, says Sci-Fi Guy. You can't insult a flat earther because they are all trolling, lying, and no one really believes it. Well, here's the thing, BIRDOPREY. I'm not willing to make that assumption. I did Yandy Trigger plenty over the weekend, including birthday message. Yes, thank you, Peter. And that's okay. I don't mind you guys sending me stuff. Just understand that sometimes, yeah. You don't look a year older than 45. Wow, Peter, you're not a very good liar. Come on now. Look at that hair. I mean, that's some serious gray right there. Darth Gilhoon throws a couple of bucks in and says, who wants 40K to invade both Star Wars and Star Trek? Well, since I don't know jack about 40K, I couldn't give an honest answer to that. But I know a lot of people and like to talk it up, but I don't know. But Anti-Trekker, what do you think about Demora Sulu? You're talking about from Star Trek Generations? Honestly, did not care about her one way or the other, to be honest with you, Alexander. I know you have a thing for Asian women, but I didn't. She didn't have a character. She was just there, and they just wanted to point out, look, it's Sulu's daughter, because Sulu's gay, you know. But then again, BIRDOPREY wishes Joshua well. Thank you, Bird. Anti-Checker, I have a problem with shopping. When I went to town buying a lot of I went to town buying a lot of crap. Well, then stop. Of course, I have a problem with that too. Miss Anti-Trigger, best wishes to Joshua. Chest cold, growing old, going around, growing old. Wow, I am losing it. Darth Gilhoon wants number 10. You got it, my friend. I do love that one. And Alexander throws 2 of his fake Canadian dollars in and once again says, what do I think of Demora Sulu? And I already answered, she didn't really have much of a character. That's the problem. I'm sure you think she's the hottest thing ever, but physical beauty is, you know, that doesn't determine whether or not it's a good character. I think Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green is not, granted, I don't particularly care for her hairstyle, but she's not unattractive. But the problem is that Michael Burnham is a horribly written character. The new Hellboy looks like he had some issues with heroin since Ron. That's good. I like those big lumbering BMWs. Look comfy. Oh, as far as the bikes, yeah, BMWs, they have some nice bikes. But the problem with BMWs is maintenance on them is a pain in the butt. As of yesterday, Anti-Trekker is closer to being 100 than the day of his birth. Yes, BIRDOPREY, thank you for pointing that out. Oh, shush, darling, you don't look a day over 21. Please, I wish that were the case. John is in the house, says crapla, oh, hey. And Alexander's now throwing lots of hearts at Demora Sulu because, I don't know. Yes, I'm going to play some City Skylines after this stream. Oh, awesome. 40K is fun, but ripped off a ton of stuff from other sci-fi properties. Well, I haven't played 40K, so I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yep, spent $60 at a general store on DVDs, $2, $3, $5 a piece. I've done that a couple of times. You go to the bargain bin and you just start grabbing stuff, yes. BIRDOPREY says Sulu's daughter was cute. Well, I'm not saying she was ugly, but I'm just, when you ask me, well, what do you think of her, you know, this person? I think of the character, not just what they look like. I mean, granted, you know, because I'm trying to even remember. I like have a very faint memory of her. Let me see if I can find her. Because she was only in the one, you know, in Star Trek Generations, and only for the first scene. All right, so we go to images. All right, so here is Little Miss Sulu, and then the other one and you know, I don't, like I said, I don't think she's ugly, but not my type. I mean, yeah. She's just kind of there. Tiki wants Damara Sulu as a Borg. And what about Keiko O'Brien? Wow, what is your thing with Asian women? I know you have a thing for Asian women, but dang. Yeah. So, Keiko O'Brien, I honestly think that Keiko is probably a little better looking than Miss Sulu. However, again, as a character, unfortunately a bit underdeveloped. All we really know about her is, you know, that she's the wife of O'Brien and a little fussy at times. I have difficulty with streaming my desktop for games. BIRDOPREY 5 walkthrough would be nice. Yeah, well, BIRDOPREY is great at doing it, so it's not... but really, streaming from your desktop... I don't know about, you know, Bird and I both use the same software, XSplit, and it's really easy to use because, like, I can bring up any game I want and simply tell XSplit to show that monitor out on the live stream. Like, I could put, if I wanted to play City Skylines right now, I could replace that space background with City Skylines, which, you know, Bird does that kind of stuff. But Bird doesn't put himself in front. I'm surprised you don't do that, Bird. Since you got the green screen now, you should, like, put yourself down in the corner when you're playing City Skylines so we can watch you falling asleep. Keiko would make a hot Borg, too. She already has the right personality for it. Wow. Sci-Fi Guy says, Meepoo. Hey, Meepoo, my friend. Yo, I'm curious what point you're at with Stargate. We're still in Season 6. We just watched the one where, oh gosh, what was it? There was a, oh man, now I'm trying to remember. All right, so we saw the one where they revealed the X-303, and then the next one after that, and where they helped the Asgard. And then we watched one more after that I can't remember off the top of my head now what it was, because we haven't watched it in a few days because there's been so much going on. Oh, by the way, got a call from Windows Technical Support today in Checker. They even called back on another number. I blagged their head? What do you mean you blagged their head? 40K did nothing wrong. Fake news. I'm not accusing them of anything. Oh, speaking of news, let me get the news update fixed because my news team has been a little behind, but they did manage to get the news information to me. So let's get that. There we go. So news is now updated. And thank you, news crew, for getting that updated. All right. Let's try to get caught up here a little bit. Got the black and white When the Day the Earth Stood Still. That's a great movie. The newer one, not so much, but the black and white classic is truly a classic. Keiko's a little fussy at times. Biggest understatement of the century. Yeah, just trying to be nice. John says, speaking of generations, Andy Checker, how, I know that you don't like it overall, to put it mildly. However, what's your opinion on the opening scenes in the Enterprise B? The opening scenes on the Enterprise B was the best part of that movie, but unfortunately, Scotty was horrifically badly written. If you watch Scotty in that scene, he's acting like Geordi. You can tell that Ronald D. Moore and those guys wrote it and not anybody that understands the character of Mr. Scott, because that is, I believe, if I remember correctly, the only time you will hear an original cast member actually issue the word quantum. Other than Scotty's writing, I think that it was fun. And you could also tell that Chekhov's part was originally written for Dr. McCoy. Because all of a sudden Chekhov is a doctor, just at random. But yeah. I had some issues last night with my stream. Well, I'm sorry. What do people want to... Why do people want to see Keiko's aboard? I don't know. I do not know why. Like, Alexander is obsessed with the idea of female Asian Borg for some reason. That's kind of weird. Molly O'Brien is all grown up now in the upcoming DS9 documentary. That's weird. Romulan Ambassador Caitlin Dart, Star Trek 5, cutest, I suppose. Yeah, she was all right. Yeah, I remember that Romulan Ambassador. Yeah. What I need is a second monitor anti-checker and easy program to start. Yeah. So second monitor would be very good. And if you want free, you can get OBS for your streaming software. If you want to pay a little bit of money, XSplit is awesome. But XSplit is not free. I don't put myself in City Skyline streams because I usually play naked. Well, that's all the more reason to put yourself in the streams. I told them I did my own technical support. Nice. Fifth Element, I got to pick up a copy of that. Fifth Element's a fun, although stupid movie. I bought Demora Sulu in Star Trek CCG, and she gives +1 range to any Enterprise. Well, okay. I don't know why. I have a soft spot for the X-03, even if it's kind of an ugly ship. They built it built up to it well and felt like they earned it. I agree. I like that. And my absolute favorite thing, though, was in that next episode when they're going to help the Asgard, and Carter's like, no, we won't name the ship the Enterprise. I just love that line. That was just awesome. If Birds plays City Skylines naked and he's playing right after Anti-Stream, then he watches Anti-Stream naked too. Yeah, kinda, yeah. That's... the MS calls are scary. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Microsoft doesn't call people like that. And Captain Redneck is in the house. Good to see you, Captain. Who says, don't we all, John? Anti-Checker isn't wearing pants. I never claimed to be wearing pants. Did I at any point say that I was wearing pants?
Ooh, Captain Redneck is on the bridge.
Thank you, Mrs. Anti-Trigger. Ante, have you ever seen the movie PCU, Blow Me Where the Pampers Is? PCU. Oh, no. Reality Strikes was talking about that movie and saying how awesome it is, but I have not seen it. I was watching for the Captain of the Enterprise B I was waiting for the Captain of the Enterprise B to freak out because his dad was angry and he wrecked the ship. That would have been funny. Scotty was amazing in The Final Frontier. What a masterpiece. Well, Alexander, you're the only person in the world that believes that, but okay. Females of any gender can be Borg, says BIRDOPREY. By the way, that is a great line because BIRDOPREY actually was talking about females of any gender during his live stream yesterday. Down with Earth Day. It's my birthday. To heck with Earth Day. Yeah, but I remember when my birthday has been Earth Day a few times because, you know, Earth Day is one of those holidays that changes dates. And since my birthday is on the 20th of April, it's been Easter a few times. It's been Earth Day a few times, which... So, some decent free streaming software, Anti-Trigger and BIRDOPREY. OBS. Honestly, Peter, if you want free, OBS is the way to go. OBS can do almost anything XSplit can. The XSplit interface, from my understanding, is a little smoother, but OBS is a freebie, which is nice. Sorry if that's so loud, Captain Redneck. For some reason, Mrs. Anti-Checker's voice just can't hurt me. But it's OBS. No, Microsoft don't call people, yeah. Micro Mini Video Store, now at 682, don't have a Wii prop. What? Don't worry, we all watched the live stream several times while sitting on the toilet. Well, that's disturbing. In Star Trek CCG, I play Major Non-Aligned Federation. This is why I bought Demora Sulu. I need a good officer. Fair enough. I played the collectible card game very briefly when it first came out, but I have not touched it in years and years and years. I don't have any of my old cards. Can you do a Force Awakens review? I plan to, although my next movie review is actually going to be Galaxy Quest. After that, then I may be open to doing Force Awakens, depending on how I'm feeling about Episode 9 at that point. Antrekker, thoughts upon the Joe Gilliam series for the creators of Hellboy? What did you think of the Copper Girl? I have not seen it, so I couldn't give an honest opinion of it, Professor. Hashtag Earth Day, says Peter. Star Trek, Earth Day is always the 22nd. I beg to differ. I don't think that Earth Day was always the 22nd. Let's see. Okay, is Earth Day always April 22nd? Maybe it is. Maybe just for some reason I thought it was Earth Day on my birthday for some reason. So I guess I'm wrong. But that's where, I swear, remember when I was a kid, my birthday being on Earth Day. Or maybe it was just they were celebrating Earth Day on my birthday because Earth Day was on a weird day or something. Yeah, I don't know. Because it says it's on April 22nd, so I guess you're right. It's not a good holiday anyway. Any holiday that was invented in the 1970s doesn't count. Let's see. I know this ship like the back of my hand. Boing. Yeah, I hated that. Foley should his crotch last night. What? Thomas, you lost me. Some people might celebrate it other days. That could be. Alexander was inconclusive if there were trans Borgs. He did not confirm Lady Borg are possible. Well, the only thing we saw was that, like, when the Borg first appeared, Q says not a he, not a she. So that would mean trans. Happy 4.5 billionth birthday, Earth. Yes. I celebrated Earth Night by turning off all the lights. Very good, Peter. Not that I don't have lights on. It's really dark. And OBS then. Yes, definitely try out OBS because it is free. You can play with it, see if it works for you. But you do, really, if you're going to stream gaming, you really do need a second monitor because you want one with your stream on it and another one that actually has your game. So, for example, if I was going to stream City Skylines, let me go to... Alright, so as I wait for it to start up, Earth Hour was at the end of March. I didn't know there was such a thing. And let me see. So now I can bring up desktop 2 right here, and so that way I can have City Skylines there. Now I could also, if I wanted, kind of move things. If I can, man, I suck at this. All right. So I could do it this way. If I wanted to just have me in front of the game, I could then shrink my image down. A lot of game streamers do that kind of thing. You know, or but there's a million different things you can do with it. It's just that you want to you got to learn the program. Anyway, challenge Galaxy Quest review in 5 episodes or less. Wow, that is going to be a tough one for me, Captain Redneck. But I was going to try to get it into specific segments, so I will try to do that. BIRDOPREY says a little too much weed, a little too much 420 Kwanzaa. What? Are you accusing me of something there? Keiko's a civilian botanist. Why in CCG does he have Starfleet science officer? That annoys me. Because reasons. Galaxy Quest, the disco we needed. Yeah, you know, it's funny because you can tell, like, Galaxy Quest is very much a love letter to Star Trek, much like the Orville is. It's just a Galaxy Quest took the humor a little further. In fact, a lot of people were expecting the Orville to be more like Galaxy Quest. But really, the Orville is more like Star Trek The Next Generation than Galaxy Quest. Yeah, I want one for the chat. Exactly. So, like, right now, on my monitors, I have... Because now I actually have 3 monitors. So, on one monitor, I have City Skylines. Granted, I took it off the stream. Then, on my main monitor, I have XSplit, which is... And then the live chat. And that's the monitor right in front of me. And then the upper monitor up here has the space engine where you see that space background that's flying around. Porg have Ray, Porg win. Well, hard to argue with that kind of logic. Star Wars versus... Oh, okay, so Borg versus Porg. Yes, Porg have Ray, Porg win. Birthdays are sexist. How are birthdays sexist? I from the late 60s, as am I. Borgs would be pretty terrifying. Imagine a swarm. That would be different. Anton Petrov shrinks his face. Peter? No idea what you're talking about there. I am Locutus of Porg. Resistance is furry. Except Porg are not furry. Porgs are feathered. He's a great science streamer and funny too. Oh, okay, you're talking about the Anton? I'm good with 5 half-hour-long episodes reviewing Galaxy. Well, I'm glad you're good with that, so why don't you put it together for me then? Galaxy Quest review in 3 words or less. Better than Discovery. Well, 3 words or less, that would, yeah. Fun, not Discovery. You said holidays that begin in the 1970s is fake. Kwanzaa was in the middle of the 70s. Or there. I thought Kwanzaa was in the 60s, actually. But I'll go with Kwanzaa as a fake holiday. I prefer Galaxy Quest to the Orville. Well, here's the thing. Galaxy Quest is more, it's more or less an examination of the Star Trek fandom, and we'll get into that into the review. Where Orville is just a love letter to the story of Trek, Galaxy Quest is a love letter to the fandom of Trek, which is something that we desperately need right now because, you know, CBS and Lucasfilm and stuff, they're just all out there going, screw the fans. So a series about the Packlids would be great. Well, we already have that. In fact, Alexander, if you want to watch a Packlid, let me tell you, here's what you do. In YouTube right now, type into the search bar, Lore Reloaded. It's a complete 55,000 subs, sub to a Packlid. And if you don't believe me, I even have a super chat to prove it. So raw. In fact, yeah, I'm going to prove it right now.
Sir, we are being hailed. On screen. What is your problem?
I am Lore.
Do you need help?
I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lore Reloaded.
Let me guess, their rubber band broke, right?
I make YouTube go.
So you can see, there's an entire channel dedicated to a Packlid. So there you go, Alexander. Tim Allen needs to cameo on Orville. That would be awesome. I remember Earth Day being the 22 because the discussion being same as Hitler's birthday, who was a vegetarian, and Mandela effect. See, that's the thing. I swear it was on the 20th at some point. It's treason then, says Captain Redneck. No. Galaxy Quest and Orville, both great and different enough to be distinct, unlike other shows that likes to copy everything, yes. Keiko O'Brien should have a movie about her with Demora Sulu. What would they do, Alexander? Seriously. With Demora Sulu being the new helmsman of the Enterprise, just fly Keiko around to buy seeds for botany? Zaku says, hey, Anti-Trigger, enjoyed your video about Discovery's original ideas. I think George Lucas needs to see that and file a lawsuit. Yeah, no kidding. That droid scene, I mean, that was such a blatant ripoff from the Phantom Menace. And if you're going to rip off Star Wars, the Phantom freaking Menace, really? That's the Star Wars you're going to rip off? Wow. Packlid's right, Star Trek Discovery. Close enough, yes. Mark says, leave Lore alone. Well, Lore's a friend. I gotta make fun of him. Galaxy Quest was a good comedy. Agreed. Galaxy Quest was a great movie. Had a lot of fun with it. Lore Reloaded, Memory Alpha Reader. Yes, but it's with personality. He's got zing to it. Still smarter than Disco writing 100%. The more I watch TNG, the more I like Star Wars. TNG puts people to sleep. Anti-Checker, read what I sent you. All right, Daniel, thank you. Let's get this up here. So, per the request of Daniel's Hot Topics, who requested this on Saturday, we're going to talk about an article, if it will come up here. Wyatt, scroll down to the bottom. 10 things to hate about Star Trek The Next Generation. Because Daniel hates Star Trek The Next Generation. Now, I don't, but we'll see what this article has to say. So I personally, you know, Star Trek: The Next Generation, while I don't think it's as good as the original series, I make no secret about that. I don't hate it. I just think that it could have been better. But let's look at what they have to say. Star Trek, and this is from CBR.com, by the way. And this written by Jermaine McMillan. Star Trek: The Next Generation was my first real Star Trek series. The author, not me, obviously. I was born too late for the original show and the animated follow-up, for that matter. And when I was a kid, the reruns just didn't do it for me. But Star Trek TNG debuted when I was 13. And I was completely sold on everything from Picard's calmness to Troy's plunging necklines. I avidly devoured every new episode and couldn't wait for more, which should have been a sign that I shouldn't have rewatched the show recently. Really, here are 10 things I'd forgotten about the show. So, I'm a little torn on the premise here, because if they were 13 when Star Trek: The Next Generation came out, which I think was in '86, that means that they were around they were born around 1973. So that means they're only like 5 years older than me, or 5 years younger than me. They grew up in the heyday of TOS, because TOS became really popular in the mid to late 70s. So I already have a problem with this, but let's see. And by the way, Professor, I agree. The USS Enterprise D should have been a different class ship. I didn't like the Galaxy class. I know, Captain Redneck, you love that ship, but just not for me. All right, the show was clearly a product of its time. Well, that's true. You have to give the Next Generation this. It's dated so much worse than the original Trek. I don't mean culturally, although the design of the original has at least had time to become retro cool by now. But the visuals, being shot on video and with special effects that range from pretty cool to kind of terrible, the show now looks more like something far cheaper and lower quality than an average sci-fi Saturday night movie, and it's hard to get that out of your head while you're watching. Now there, I disagree with the author of this article. It's true that, yes, the visuals are dated, but the visuals of any old show are dated. Yes, the visuals of TOS are dated. But that's not what it's about. It's about the writing. So I honestly think that that's a low blow. The show was offensively inoffensive. Okay. By the 24th century, interpersonal conflict was a thing in the past in Gene Roddenberry's mind, which makes for some appallingly dull viewing. When all of the regular cast, just one big happy family, get along, except for one of them or more gets possessed by some alien, then more likely than not, was just looking for the understanding all along. TNG is an amazing, therapist-friendly show, refusing to cast blame in almost any direction, which possibly would make for a utopian society in which to live, not one to set a drama in. I do agree with that point. I do think that one of my biggest problems with TNG was that the characters were too, they got along too well. Everybody was everybody else's friend. Nobody had any real conflict. Some of what makes the original series great was the conflict with McCoy and Spock. They were constantly at each other's throats. Here is an allegory. Here we go with the original Trek had its fair share of clunky allegories. Don't get me wrong, but at times it felt as if that's all TNG was. Every single week, it seemed the show would have to tackle some real-world subject with the attitude of, but it's happening to aliens, and the crew of the Starship Enterprise would come along, frown, and tell them off like their parents. Everything would be over within an hour, which would have been more tolerable if the real-world problems were more daring than bigotry is wrong over and over again. Well, and I'll tell you that I think it has some merit to it in that. I remember I think it's first season. There was an episode where an entire society was hooked on or no, it was one where they had the 20th century people. I think maybe it's something about one of those episodes where they were like either they were smoking or doing drugs or something. And Wesley's like, "Oh golly gee, why would anyone want to do drugs?" And they'd be like, "Well, people back then just didn't understand because we know now because we've evolved beyond the need for drugs." Crap like that. So I'll give him that one. Riker and Troy, science fiction's most passionless, unrequited love. Yeah, can't argue with that. Yeah, that's right. For their supposedly backstory of lovers torn apart by duty, recycled from Star Trek The Motion Picture. As I realized when I rewatched that the other night, what can I say? I'm on a Trek kick, and it's on Netflix. Watch instantly. Riker and Troy managed to keep their respective flames hidden by having almost no chemistry on screen. I blame the actors for the most part, but at least Jonathan Frakes, I said Frakes, Captain Man, not Franks, had an air of consistent amusement about him during everything in this past second season. So the writing has to be partially responsible as well. All right. So, you know, I didn't care for the Troy Riker thing, but I don't think that I wouldn't call that as a detractor from the show. But you know, and Luke stops me in my tracks, puts 10 euros in the chat. Thank you so much, Luke. Says Happy Easter. By the way, you are now so old you have more years than states in your country. Congratulations for surviving this much on Earth. Say. See ya, suckers, to all the guys you outlived. Wow. Luke, I hate you. And now BIRDOPREY is talking about the sexual event, yeah. And you're right, Alex. Drugs are bad, okay? Drugs are bad, okay? DJ is here, says, hey, Electric, just popping in and say, great vid, can't stay stuck on a double shift at the radio. Hail all and have a great one. You take care, DJ. Sorry that you're working a double there. Another rotation around Sol, that is true. I've survived 51 orbits around the sun so far. Next on the list of things to hate, almost everything about Data. Really? I know. That's like saying I hate Santa Claus, isn't it? But Data never really did anything for me beyond provide deus ex machinas and annoy me. We had seen the what does it mean to be human thing before with Spock, and weirdly enough, again with Leia Probe in the motion picture. And Brent Spiner portrayal shifted from naive to oddly smug somehow during the show's run, making him all more irritating. I disagree with that. And yeah, I'll get you the Super Turds in just a moment, Luke. I actually disagree with that point. I don't think that, I do think that Data is, you know, I would go on the argument that Data is not sentient, but I do think he's interesting, and I think that this writer is wrong about that particular point. So I will break right there from the article and get the Super Turds up here for Mr. Fovark. Here you go, my friend.
In the great bowl of the Justice League, there floats the world's 4 greatest turds. Created from cosmic indigestion, SUPERTURDS. Wonder Turd. Bat Turd. Aqua Turd. And those 2 junior Super Turds, Lore Reloaded and Punchy the Wonder Cat.
Still the greatest Super Chat reward of all time. Thank you, Luke. John also throws a couple of bucks in saying fully functional, because we know that Data is indeed fully functional. And yeah, I know, you know, I think that here's the thing. Data in the early seasons was ridiculously naive. However, at the same time, I think that his character by the end of the series was interesting, even if I disagreed with the premise. So, and Captain Redneck throws 20 bucks and says, Data is fully functional, multiple techniques. Screw that blog. Make YouTube go. Because we make YouTube go.
Sir, we are being hailed. On screen. What is your problem?
I am Lore.
Do you need help?
I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Lore Reloaded.
Let me guess, their rubber band broke, right?
I make YouTube go.
And thank you so much, Captain Redneck. Redneck. I do appreciate it. And John, don't forget, throw a super chat at me if you want it. And Luke, no, we're not putting TNG on trial. It's just, this is an article that was requested by Daniel's Hot Topics, and we're kind of going through it. And it's 10 reasons that they hate TNG. Which, speaking of which, the next one is, while I'm at it, the rest of the crew too. Wow. So first they're all pissed off at Data, now everybody else. Okay, perhaps Patrick Stewart can be saved from the deluge of, well, they weren't the greatest actors in the world, scorn, but there really wasn't a level of acting ability from the regular cast that seemed to favor broad soap opera style. Wow! Reactions to anything subtle, charming, or believable, wherever possible. I'm looking at you in particular, Michael Dorn, Klingon or not. There were far too much bellowing happening here. I disagree fully on that one. Because I'm sorry, but while the acting is, I mean, we're talking about Star Trek here. Star Trek has never been known for incredible acting, but I don't think they did a bad job on TNG as far as the acting of the show. I don't think that the writing on the show was where it should have been. So I think that at this point, I mean, and you guys know what a nitpicker I am. These people are freaking nitpicking here. Next up, and I know, so John requested number 14. I'll get that for you in just a minute, John. Wait, number 14? There is no number 14. What are you talking about? Is there a number 14 on the list that I don't know about? Yeah, it's only 13. You're messing with my head. You're breaking my brain. Unless there's something that you're not telling me, which I'll check the chat in just a minute. The Borg! From exciting two-time problems, the first appearance in Best of Both Worlds two-parter, to completely and utterly overused characters that ended up becoming boring as a result. The Borg may be a masterclass on how not to use villains in a continuing narrative. I'll admit the Voyager may hold even more the blame than this TNG. Well, duh! But still, this is where it all got started, and let's face it, Voyager already has a terrible reputation, somewhat deservedly. Now, again, you guys know I've been spending a lot of time watching Borg stuff, and yes, I will say Borg not the greatest. Descent was just plain bad, but Best of Both Worlds and Q Who were some of the best stuff ever, and that's where the Borg. This guy's freaking nuts. Those uniforms, he says. Oh, come on, like you don't agree on this one, at least, especially in the first couple of seasons, where they're all wearing those all-in-one things. Seriously, you just... It ruined the franchise all the way until J.J. Abrams saved it? Okay, this guy doesn't like Star Trek. That's the problem. The Next Generation, through all its successes, in fact, became a benchmark of what Trek should be, all the way through to the cancellation of Enterprise. Changed what had been the series without exploration... had changed what had been a series about exploration and adventure and more than a little goofiness into something more sober, serious, and, well, less fun, really. It took a lot of the imperfections of humanity out of the ideas behind the show and replaced it with, well, I'm not even sure they managed to replace it with anything lasting. Wow. You can watch an original Trek, and yes, it's nowhere near perfect, but there's a sense of excitement and discovery and lack of embarrassment that's compelling to watch. But the Next Generation has this ashamed quality to it, as if you're just doing science fiction at all the little too lowbrow for its own taste, and so you'd rather do something more cerebral and meaningful instead. It took Abrams' 2009 revival, which may claim to be closer to Star Wars than Star Trek, which many point to something... which may point to something in and of itself, to bring some of that stupid gut reaction back to the franchise, and he left it so much better than it was when he found it. The Next Generation was a show that we loved at a time, perhaps because it is what we had. It was new, and it was on every week. But now that we can look back and see it more of a historical context, surely I'm not alone in thinking it was kind of terrible more often than not. Yeah, wow. Daniel, I have to say, I disagree with most of that article. Bottom line is, was Star Trek The Next Generation, do I consider my favorite Star Trek show? No, not at all. You guys know for me it's TOS all the way. Is it my second favorite Star Trek show? No, that would be Deep Space Nine. But it's not a bad show. It has its problems, but this article takes it way too far. Way too freaking far. I'm sorry. Anyway, so now I gotta try to catch up because I'm way the heck behind in the chat. Number 14 on the secret menu. Well, you gotta tell me more than just number 14 because there's a couple of secret things, so I don't know which secret thing you're referring to. Yeah, I thought Anti-Trigger knew about the secret super chat secret menu. No, number 14. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. I know it's probably something really obvious and I'm just forgetting. Lobster Lovin's in the house says hi. Luke says, my theory, the guy is in the middle of a divorce. Yeah, that seriously, I think you're right. Alexander throws 2 more fake Canadian dollars and says, I'm glad today because I got some A&W. Ooh, that sounds good. Star Trek was more popular in the 90s than it ever was in 2009. Yeah. Worf gets intimidated by the Cisco. That's true. Purge them with holy fire. I tell you, that article, I'm sorry, Daniels, I love you, man, but I think that guy's off base. Granted, I'm in agreement that the TOS is the best Trek in my book, but at the same time, I think that's going too far to say that TNG was just bad. Mercer Create is here, says, I'm leaving this chat forever I'm ignored. Sorry, Mercer, I was reading an article. Come on now. You got to cut me a little bit of slack here, my friend. Yeah. Captain Redneck says, Picard directly insulted Worf, called him a coward. Worf did nothing. That's true, because Worf does respect Picard like no other man. And that is true. I rate TNG in 3rd place after DS9's TOS, but it's still a good show. Yeah, I think that's fair. Ed Trigger, chat, what class of ship would you pick to be the Enterprise D if Galaxy class never existed? I would have made the Enterprise D, I don't know, something more like what we saw as the Ambassador class. I think the Galaxy class is just overdone. The giant bulbous saucer section is too much. I don't know, it just doesn't work for me as a design. I don't even care about the name of it being the Galaxy class. I just don't like the design. Even my super chat was missed. No, I'm sorry, Joseph. Gosh, I saw no, okay, what does data... Oh, gosh, I did miss it. Oh, man, Joseph, I'm so sorry. What does it mean for data to be fully functional? Well, I think what it means is that he needs AA batteries. So, my deepest apologies, Joseph. I am truly sorry about that. My bad. Got all into that, my rage over that article, so sorry about that. Disco's at the bottom of my list so far, Antchecker, but for sci-fi goodish at times. Well, yeah, Disco is definitely the worst of the Trek saga, if you will, but we'll see. Is it beyond redemption? A lot of people say yes. I still maintain that it has the potential to be saved. I gotta figure out a good way to arrange all this. So let's see. That's a Stargazer class / Constellation class and a Trekker in the animation. Pretty close. But yes. Yeah, Captain Foley probably needs a lot of AA's to keep all of his lights functioning. I actually think TNG is on par with DS9, says Luke. Both shows have about as much good and bad, and are certainly complementary. Both are in the same place on the podium. I don't know. I have to give it to DS9. I think that their storytelling was just a little bit better than TNG. The dwarf breathed so loud we could have shot him in the dark. Yeah, we do that. They do that. Disco can get awesome for sci-fi at times, but Anti-Checker for me. Well, Disco has some fun moments for sure. And the problem is that those fun moments are few and far in between. The show is literally ruined. I can totally see the boom mic. Is that better? Oh no, that's worse. All right. Peter says, I love the Dark Trek DS9. Well, the thing is, it's not that DS9 was dark that makes it better. I think that the characters felt more real because they didn't all just love each other, right? You had Odo and Quark hated each other, but they respected each other. They were a lot like Spock and McCoy. You had basically everybody hated Quark. You had, Cisco coming in and everybody hated him at first because he's an outsider. So, I think that there was a lot more character conflict in DS9, and that's probably why I liked it better than TNG. Every show, especially one with so many episodes, multiple writers and directors, is going to have bad episodes. TNG had good moments as well, and it was respected in the Trek universe and Trekkies. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not saying that TNG is perfect, but I'm certainly not saying it's bad. Did you celebrate our 71st birthday? 71 years is a long time. Yes, it is a very long time. Thank you for reminding me that, Mercer. TNG is the best Trek. It made Star Trek what it is. You and I disagree on that, Captain Renner. If you want to say what made Star Trek, well, the original series is Star Trek. That's where it came from. It's like poetry. It rhymes. Each stanza kind of rhymes with the last. Mercer? Bashir and O'Brien at the start and Checker till they had a drink together. Yeah. At this point, I list the animated series above Discovery. I also list Voyager 3rd and DS9 4th. I just never got into DS9. Fair enough. And that's the thing. It's okay to have differing opinions. Although most people, I would say, most Star Trek fans, if you call yourself a Trekkie or a Trekker, then chances are you don't like Discovery very much. Or at the very least, you would put it at the bottom of Trek. Whereas, if you don't call yourself a Trekkie or a Trekker, you may think Discovery is the best Star Trek of all. It was more real. Yeah, DS9 was more real to me than TNG. TNG, even back in the 80s when it came on, felt like, come on, people are not, it just didn't feel right. And Morn is the greatest Star Trek character ever. Well, don't say that too loud, because Alexander, I think, would argue that Leslie Neal is probably the greatest Star Trek character. Well, no, Neelix is the greatest Star Trek character. Or is it the Victorian Baboon Woman is one of those. Run Along Home has made DS9. Yeah, that I didn't say every episode was great. Every series of Star Trek has had bad episodes. But there is only one threshold. Although, man, I tell you, Discovery came close to that level a couple of times. Egon, this reminds me of the time you tried to drill... Egon, this reminds me of the time you tried to drill a hole of your head. Remember that? It would have worked if you hadn't stopped me. Discovery was better than this season of Doctor Who. I couldn't get through the season of Doctor Who, but I think part of my problem there is that I'm just not into Doctor Who that much. So I just said, screw it, I'm not going to watch it. Michael Baggins is the bravest hobbit of them all. Thomas, I hate you. Morn versus Norm in a fight. Wow. I would have to give that to Morn. But yeah. Alexander says the Victorian Baboon Woman is the best of her. Okay. So we've got to keep that in the right order here. So the Picard series is not filming now, even though it was supposed to start on the 15th. Well, again, all that behind-the-scenes drama stuff, if you follow, I know Doomcock talks about that stuff, Mecha talks about that stuff, Nerdrotic talks about that stuff, all three of which are friends of mine. However, that's not my bag. My whole thing is, when CBS says, okay, it's official, it's official. Until that time, it's nothing. What about Irish episodes and check on Voyager and TNG? What about the Irish episodes? They were pretty lame. Why aren't there genre films as good as Lord of the Rings? I think the MCU kind of sucks. Well, I don't think the MCU sucks. However, Lord of the Rings is in a class by itself because of the books. That's honestly the reason. Why do so many Trek sites, forums, online love Discovery? Because they are being paid or owned by CBS. In fact, I can't remember which one it is, but like one of the sites that Nerdrotic and Mecha and Doomcock farm for articles is, it says on the website that it's owned by CBS. So of course they're going to talk about how, oh yes, it's the greatest series ever because it's the current series. Tom Baker is my favorite Doctor Who. I like Tom Baker, but I gotta say I like Pewtree just a little bit more. Or Pertree, sorry, I can never pronounce his name right. 7 and 9 was the best. Alexander says Cybok is the second best character in the movies, just after Demora Sulu. Alexander, you have a really weird way of judging characters. Favorite moment of TNG was when Chief O'Brien and his former command sung Minstrel Boy. I don't remember that off the top of my head now. Okay, gotta eat, take care. All right, Lobster, I'm gonna be breaking off in just a moment here myself. Comicbook.com. Thank you, BIRDOPREY. Yes, comicbook.com is owned by CBS. And so, but if CBS owns the website, they're gonna, of course, they're not gonna say, oh, Star Trek Discovery sucks, because they don't want to get fired. And bestest FR, yes, that's something that Doomcock loves to say. 7 of 9 is breast of fresh ass. Captain, you know what? I actually, for a minute there, I thought Alexander wrote that, Captain Redneck. Luke says, hey, Trigger, by the way, did you hear about the nice interview where Kathleen Kennedy said she wanted to make sure episode 9 would reflect our world in 2019? Jumping the TIE Fighter all the way. Yeah, I didn't see that interview, but that wouldn't surprise me. But we'll see what happens. JJ is definitely a better director than Rian Johnson, so it might not be horrible, but I'm not betting on anything. Very lame anti-trekker, racial stereotypes. Some of my Irish friends will not watch them. Damon and Chris on Nerd Escapes for the 2. Yeah, I tell you, that's the thing. In TNG era, it seems like that's all they know how to do is be stereotypes. And so that's a problem. Peter Quinn, you mean you're mean against the Irish? Well, Peter is, well, never mind. O'Brien and Maxwell sing The Wounded. In Voyager, the Borg named one had great personality, but he wasn't an Asian woman, unfortunately. Oh, Lordy. Alexander, you know what? For you, since I'm getting ready to wrap things up, for you, let's just make you happy once and for all.
The Borg vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. Drink a fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a dream, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
And let me address what Peter said real quick before I sign off. I'll give this to JJ that he said it was a different timeline, unlike Discovery. Yes, that is actually something that made the JJ universe a lot more tolerable to me. That's why I could enjoy Star Trek 2009 and Star Trek Into Darkness. I didn't like Star Trek Beyond at all, but at least those first two I could enjoy with the knowledge that it was, in fact, an alternate timeline. That helped a lot. And yes, Captain Redneck, CBS has MacGyver the reboot, and it is horrifically bad. So, yes, it is really, really bad. Thomas Potts throws $11 in and says, the Bird Chat is better. Well, I tend to agree, but, you know, politics and stuff and junk. And now it's not going to... Come on. What's wrong? Oh, no wonder I hit the wrong button. Dumb me.
Captain's log, stardate 44307.3. I'm preparing to leave my shuttlecraft for Pentaurus 5, where I've been asked to mediate a dispute among the Salinite miners. A contentious group, unfortunately prone to violence. But first, I must deal with a situation of a far more personal nature.
What better way to get first-hand experience?
Captain, I'm picking up a general distress signal from BIRDOPREY 5.
On screen.
Feel the fire, feel my love inside you so bright. There's the sound and the smell of love on my mind. I'm your toy, come play with me. Say the word now. Wrap your legs around me. Ride me tonight.
My love is a fever, longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease.
I'm a man, I'm a goddess, I'm a man, I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a blue movie, I'm a man, I'm a bitch, I'm a man, I'm a geyser, I'm a man, I'm a little girl, and we'll make love together. This sounds very pedo-ish.
In faith, I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors see, but 'tis my heart that loves what they despise, who, in despite of view, art pleased to dote. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate.
What? Oh my God.
When I have plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It needs, must wither.
Why are you saying these things? Music to make love to an old ladybug.
You wonderfully jealous fool, you.
Wow, well that's basically rape. That is rape as a song. Congratulations. I gotta go turn myself in.
And yeah, CBS and their reboots, they really need to get over that. Yeah. Oh, man. And by the way, as far as the Irish being a race, Captain Redneck pointed that out. I agree. Well, you know, the Irish Celtic is really the race, I guess you could argue. But Irish is the nationality or even ethnicity that you could argue. But, yeah. Magnum PI and YYVO reboots were CBS, so not everything they do is crap. Maybe Discovery Season 2 needs 3 needs to be in Hawaii. Well, here's the thing. Now, I have not watched the Magnum PI reboot, so I plead ignorance when it comes to that one. However, I have seen the Hawaii Five-0 reboot, and while the first season of Hawaii Five-0 I thought was all right. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. We watched the first couple of seasons, but it very quickly became wash, rinse, repeat. It became CBS seems to only know how to do one specific type of show, and that is a procedural police drama. They can do that and sitcoms, and that's pretty much it. So, and honestly, I just don't find it all that compelling. You know, when you watch Hawaii Five-0, you know how every episode's going to end. You know how every episode, and the thing is, it's the exact same thing that you see on every one of their shows. And that's it. You're right, Truth. It's 30 variations of cop dramas. That's it. Captain Redneck's throwing up at the idea of Tilly in a bikini. Yes. That's disturbing. The MacGyver reboot just feels like another one of their procedural cop dramas. The Hawaii Five-0 is just another one of the procedural cop dramas. It's all the same show. So yeah, I just don't care about it. And yes, so Bird of Prey 5 is streaming even now because he knew that I was about to sign off anyway. So for all of you that are interested, you should check out Bird of Prey. I'm putting the link in the chat here a couple of times. So check out Bird of Prey 5 stream. He's a fun guy. He's going to be playing some City Skylines. If you care about City Skylines, holy crap, is Bird good at that game. In the meantime, all I can say is season 2's done. There's that at least.
I have got something better!
And Alexander wants Keiko O'Brien and Demora Sulu naked. Of course you do. Because you are a sick, sick man. And there's the notification. The notification from antitrekker.com came in before the notification from YouTube, which is, by the way, if you want to get notifications for certified nerds, that is people like myself, Bird of Prey, Nerdrotic, Mecha Random, Doomcock, Lore Reloaded, and others, you can go to antitrekker.com and check out the certified nerds section, and we're going to be adding more people to it as we go on. So, absolutely worth doing. And big shout out to Bird of Prey 5 for helping get things going there, because he is my webmaster. He's the person that keeps it going. So, Alexander, I know if you want a super chat, tell me now, because otherwise I'm just gonna that I'm certified. I don't know if we got you on the list yet, Alexander, because we have kind of a couple of rules. One is which you have to have 100 subs before we'll put you on the list. Why we made that a rule, just so that we could. Otherwise, we'd have to put everybody that has a YouTube channel on there that's a subscriber to my channel, because you guys are awesome. G.I. Joe, all right, my friend. Whoops, wrong button. That's not what I meant to hit.
So, does anybody really know why we're fighting anyway?
Well, I think... Hey, didn't he vote for Trump?
He did.
Get him!
So remember, if anyone has an opinion, they're probably wrong.
Now we know!
And knowing is half the battle.
So there's Bird's stream going. He's got City Skylines up. I have no idea what he's doing right now.
Don't worry. I don't think that's going to be an issue.
He doesn't think
John Araki says, does the wrench get you around the slow mode? Oh my god, it might. It might.
right, so BIRDOPREY is trying to stop people from chatting too much. All right, guys, have a great whatever the hell it is for you in your corner of the world, and thank you for hanging out with me. Now go over to BIRDOPREY stream. Like I said, at least just go over and say hi, even if you can't stick around. And don't forget to tip your server, I guess.